Now, before we venture into the concept as to what package is, as you can see the definition on the screen given by Philip Kotler, it is also important to have some sort of a relevance being established as to why packaging is needed. Of course, packaging has certain functionality which is essential, but what is its significance? In what way does packaging adds value? And in what way does packaging helps an organization to drive sales? Because packaging from a perspective of function is, yes, of course, it is very much necessary. But from the perspective of capturing the attraction of the consumers, from the perspective of adding value, is what we need to examine. And a particular product which always comes into mind whenever I discuss about packaging is this. Now, this product, obviously, the target audience for this product is kids. And what I feel is one of the important reason as to why this product has able to captivate the minds of consumers, especially its target customers who are primarily kids, is its unique packaging. This product was launched in the year 2009, and I'm sure you have some clue about which product I'm referring to. I'm referring to a product called Kinder Joy. So Kinder Joy is one of the many products that the 40-year-old Ferraro brand owns, right? So Kinder Joy as a product, I mean, probably you must have also tasted it. It's a unique snack, a milky, creamy cocoa cream with two crisp wafer is what is accompanied, and all this is put in the egg-shaped packaging with a toy in it. So what sets Kinder Joy's packaging apart is from the other conventionally product is its unique, colorful, handy egg-shaped packaging. So this is what probably also attracts the customers. Of course, there are many other elements as to why kids are so lured by the product, but one of the reason is its unique packaging, which comes in the egg shape. So, unlike other usual brands, what they do is generally they either go for rectangular or a square shape. The choice of an egg is an extremely smart move, considering little kids are drawn to visually color items. So, this stacking completely misses the point. So, placing X over an egg tray keeps it upright, attracting kid whenever they look at the packaging. So, Kinder Joy, definitely in terms of packaging, it's a very smart move. And this has not only captured try and test the product. So that's the reason I always believe that packaging and labeling contribute to product identity. Even though the major function of packaging and labeling is primarily to protect and facilitate the product use as well as storage. However, packaging and labeling function has a wider meaning these days. And a classic example of this is Kinder Joy. Well designed packages can not only create convenience, but also it also adds on to promotional value. It can also create competitive advantage. That's what we see in the case of Kinder Joy. And good packaging and labeling also helps marketer to establish brand image of the product. So probably we can do an exercise in which people can recall some of the unique product packaging you would have come across, and you are actually more inclined in remembering the product because of its packaging. So do you have any such packaging in mind which has actually created a strong influence on your mind? Probably if you could able to recollect, you can definitely message me on the message box. So what is important is that packaging must be appealing in order to attract and hold consumers' eye and attention. Consumers are prepared to pay little extra when their purchase decisions are made easy from packaging and labeling. So at times we are willing to pay a little extra, but we also see what is that we are getting in terms of packaging also, especially from a viewpoint of Indian mindset. Given the fact that we have this tendency of reusing the packaging material which we get with the product, so we don't mind spending extra some amount if the product packaging can be used for a long period of time. So that's the reason why some of the containers, if you examine Indian kitchens, probably can also visit your house kitchen, you will see a lot of products packaging would have been used as container to store the other grocery items, right? I'm sure your mother would definitely use Horlicks or Complan's Contour bottle as a jar for storing spices, right? So that is what we Indians do. We don't want to waste anything that comes out of the product. So even the cover, what we get, we try to reuse it. Even the bottle, what we get when we buy Pepsi or Coke, the bottle is again reused as a water can for school kids. So that's the reason why sometimes making the packaging attractive and charging little extra would definitely make sense, because customers at the end of the day want to reuse even the packaging material for a long time. Now, when we look at the definition is quite simple, and it can't be simpler than this. So, packaging is an activity of designing and producing the container of a product. So, it's a very simple definition. There's another definition given by William J. Stanton. He says packaging may be defined as a general group of activities in product planning which involves designing and producing the container or wrapper of a product. So, nonetheless, both the definitions, whether it is Philip Kotler or William J. Stanton, they both emphasizes on creating a container, right, which can sustain the product itself. And on the other hand, labeling is different from packaging. So, labeling involves attaching a small piece of paper. So, depending on the company policy, some company might use a paper or a fabric or a plastic, any material for that matter, that is part of the package to identify it or to give instructions or detail concerning its ownership, use, nature, destination. So, labeling is kind of an information slip which contains necessary details about the product. And sometimes labeling also is regulated, and certain regulatory guidelines needs to be strictly adhered to when it comes to labeling, because certain products mandate for you to disclose certain type of information. When you buy cigarettes, right, the packaging is defined by the rules. So government has certain rules that you have to put a picture picture of the harmful effect which tobacco or cigarette can cause. So usually you see a picture of a cancer patient, throat, lungs being displayed, and that too in what size, that is also defined by the government norms. So you have that big picture, a scary picture, which is put on the package as a label, just to kind of make the users aware that the kind of consequences which they might face if they continue to smoke. So it's a mandate you have to follow. You have no other option, even though you wanted to put a lot of attractive things on the package and the labeling, but certain rules needs to be adhered. And in case of food products, it's very important that you disclose the nutritional value to the consumer. That is also a mandate of government. And Food Safety Standards Authority of India is very particular that you can't give misleading information when it comes to labeling. Labeling objective itself is to give accurate and correct instructions, information to the user. But in case if the information is misleading, then it can lead to severe consequences. Something that happened in UK a while ago, couple of years back, in UK, Kellogg's did came up with this Special K program, similar to what they had in India. So you know what the Special K program is. Special K program is basically a Kellogg cornflake meal, which promises to help the consumers reduce their weight. So the product label, when you look at the product label, the label has the details that how many calories you can burn, what is the fat content, what is the carbohydrate content. So all the details were given. Consumer, one of the consumers in UK did use this product for a while because he wanted to lose weight, and he followed the instructions that were exactly as it was given on the label of the product on the package. And after following this cornflake meal diet, which is marketed as Kellogg's Special K program, the consumer did figure out that he was actually not losing any weight despite of following the program the way it was instructed on the label. In fact, he added some more weight, and he did visit a doctor to figure out what is happening with his body as to why is he adding on more weight despite of following Kellogg's Special K program, the conflict meal diet, the way it was mentioned. So doctor did ask him, okay, how are you consuming this? So he said the weight is shown on the label on the cover with milk. So then doctor said the milk has a lot of fats, and if you continue to consume so much of milk with cornflakes, how will you reduce weight? So you're adding weight because you're consuming milk, and of course you are consuming cornflakes, but you're consuming it with milk, and that is what is adding to a lot of weight. Then this gentleman went to court of law and sued Kellogg's, saying that I did follow the weight was given in the wrapper, but I didn't lose weight, so the company's claim is false. So eventually, the consumer court gave a verdict in the favor of consumer, stating that consumer was just following what was there on the packaging, what was there on the label. The pack cover, the front label clearly shows that Kellogg's is being served with a bowl of milk, and is being served with milk. I mean, you add Kellogg's into the milk bowl and eat it. That's about how the customer ate, but he didn't lose weight. So as a result of this, the court did observe that he has actually followed what is there on the package, and the information given in the label also is something which he has followed. So the court ordered Kellogg's to pay £50,000 to this customer for misleading the customer. And from then onwards, Kellogg's removed the claim that it has 0 calories. And then it did not, it also added special instructions saying that you need to eat Kellogg's in breakfast with milk, but milk should be skim milk. So, which means you have to eat the version of the milk which has 0 fats in it, where you have something called a skim milk, in which all the fats are removed. And that is something which most of the people who want to lose weight widely use this. So then Kellogg's had to mention that you need to consume it with skim milk for more effective results. So unless then, nobody would have bothered to raise this issue. But this customer in UK did raise this issue, and just imagine £50,000 is quite a lot of money, right? Especially when you translate that into Indian rupees. So this guy won a big uh, case in the court of law and did teach a lesson to company like Kellogg's that you just can't bully around and give wrong information. So that's very important, and that's the reason why companies are extremely cautious when they are designing their packaging material and labeling, because any kind of wrong and misleading information can have legal consequences. Not just that, your labeling also serves as an identity. That's what the point here says. When you read the third line in the definition of labeling, it says to identify it or give information. So one of the reason of using a specific design of label is also helping the customer to identify the product. So it is very important that your entire package, your product's entire package, design, the font color, the font style, everything is copyrighted. Because what will happen otherwise, uh, your there are companies who want to imitate and copy your design just to mislead the public, right? Especially this usually happens in case of mineral water. Recently, Bisleri had come up with Bisleri 500 ml, in which it is written as Bisleri 500. Now you see a lot of counterfeits have come in the market, which has same design as Bisleri's bottle. Label is also of same design. Color of the label is also same. So what will happen is at times we don't read the name spelling. We just go by the bottle design and the color of the label, and we think, okay, this is Bisleri. But when you actually look at it, it's something else. So this can also seriously invite legal consequences if you try to copy, provided the label, the bottle design or the packaging design should also be copyrighted. So in case of Kinder Joy, its eggshell packaging design is copyrighted, so nobody can copy it. Not just that, even the color elements, the font can also be copyrighted, and that's one of the reasons why Dabur sued Saffola Honey in the court of law, because Saffola Honey had followed the same style of labeling with same colors also. Right? Probably after the class, you can do a little bit of googling and read more about this conflict which happened between Dabur Honey and Saffola Honey for using the same. Saffola did imitated the same label, design, color, and all that. So that should also not happen, because again, it will lead to legal consequences. So Dabur had to file a case against Saffola for using same design and color elements. Right. So therefore, labeling is not just to give information, not just to give instruction, but it also can serve as an identity in which a marketer can create a unique identity with the help of label itself, which helps the consumer to recognize its brand very easily. So let's quickly run through the functionality aspect now, because we were also discussing about some intangible elements about labeling and packaging, but these are very tangible elements what we are discussing now. So what are the functions of label packaging? So one of the important function of packaging is protection and preservation, and I would say this is the basic function of packaging, because the whole idea of providing a container or a package is to protect and preserve the contents throughout the manufacturing, transportation, storage, and consumption chain, because the duration between the product is produced and it is consumed, there is a lot of time involved in this, right? And during this time period, the packaging should be designed in such a way that it should keep the product intact, ensuring that the quality is maintained and preserved. So good packaging also guarantees the health and safety of the consumer by protecting the product from climatic effects, any kind of harmful substances, contamination, and also from infestation, right? Because at times insects and other organisms can spoil the product if it is not packed correctly, especially if there are food items. So thus keeping the contents clean, fresh, and safe, and also ensuring the shelf life is the basic essence of packaging, right? So that's the reason this is one of the important functions that packaging should give protection and preservation to the product. Now, what are some of the other functions? Some of the other function includes information transmission. So effective packaging can actually reduce operating expenses involved in transportation, storing, handling products by reducing the cost due to breakage. So when you're clearly telling the manner in which the product should be handled, the packaging should be handled, right? What happens is, because of this instructions mentioned on the label and because of the sturdy and durable material of the packaging itself, can help the marketer in reducing the cost. So imagine all the expenses, home appliances, whether it is an expensive LG television or washing machine, right? So they get during the transportation process, they are moved from one corner of the country to another country. Sometimes the product is imported from a different country to altogether. So imagine the kind of strain, the pressure the packaging should go through. So your packaging should be designed scientifically in such a way that it should withstand the challenges that is encountered during the logistics and transportation. So that is one of the point. One of the point is to also ensure that during the entire supply chain process, the product should withstand the uh, pressure, and this only happens in case if there is an effective and quality packaging. Information transformation, that is also another major function. So packaging describes the consumer the weight of certain items as well as the number of items inside the package. It also informs how to use the product, how to transport the product, how to recycle the packaging material, how to responsibly dispose the packaging material. So all that details is also given in the package itself. So customer can adhere to this information to ensure that the packaging material and the package is successfully used. Another reason is convenience. So it is essential that packaging solution should result in convenience for the customers, and the right kind of packaging material also provides convenience to the customers to carry the product, uh, and also the appearance also matters. So the packaging should be designed in such a way that customer can easily transport the product, can easily store the product, right? So that is also important. And sometimes, as I mentioned, reusage is also taken into account. The design in such a way that the product, even though you have used the product, but still the package can be reused. So all this results in convenience. That is important. And most consumers also judge the product by its packaging. So as the old saying goes, right? We always at times judge the book by its cover page. Sometimes it does happens with the products also. If the product packaging is quite attractive, then definitely our attention gets diverted and we want to figure out what is the product actually, because the packaging itself is so attractive, right? Something which most of the confectionery companies are doing these days. Most of the confectionery companies, on account of festival season like Diwali, they come up with a unique packaging, right? Even though products like Cadbury and other biscuit brands uh, try to contextualize their product, even though it has been a tradition that during Diwali we share sweets, we look at how companies are trying to contextualize their product in relation to a festival. So you have a special festival gift hamper, you have a special festival gift pack designed in such a way that you should feel that yes, this is the part of festival. Technically speaking, who eats biscuits during festivals? Right? Doesn't make sense. But that is how the marketing companies are trying to lure the customer by carefully designing the container in such a way that whenever you go to a supermarket, you are quite attracted by looking at the way the container is packed, the way the product is packed, the kind of container what they use. That immediately you feel like you should try the product or buy the product, even though you know what is inside. It's just an ordinary biscuit, right? So that's how companies try to enhance their product image and appeal by using different elements like colorful printing, design, convenient handling, good layout, uh, because all this will boost the product's commercial appeal. And one of the aspect also which is kept in mind is the product positioning. So how you want customer to identify your product as. So what kind of an image you want to create about your product, right? So if your product packaging is quite luxurious, if it is quite I would say appealing, not just appealing but also very expensive, right? So if you are selling an expensive product, imagine your packaging should also be in tune with that uh, price, right? Now, I don't know how many of you have seen luxury spirits, right? There are alcohol brands, there are alcohol uh, bottles that runs in lakhs of rupees. These are called vintage spirits, right? Especially during festive season now, since Christmas is also coming up. So obviously the sales are on the higher side. So a lot of people spend huge amount of money on consuming expensive alcohol. So imagine, right? If a bottle of alcohol is costing 70 lakh rupees, how much money the marketer would have spent on packaging material. So an alcohol bottle which is costing 65 lakh rupees, obviously the packing material and the design of the package itself, the company would have spent at least 2 to 3,000 rupees, right? But what happens if you give an expensive alcohol costing 65 lakh rupees in an ordinary cartoon box? What you get the local alcohol? The answer is it will lose its identity of being a luxury and a prestige brand. So that is where sometimes you can try to create a unique identity for your product by crafting a well designed packaging material and a container which actually aligns it with the product image. And of course, convenience is something which I did mention it to you. And product positioning, right? So if you want to position your product as a luxury product, then definitely your packaging material should also be in tune with it. Identification is all about creating a unique design by which the customer is able to easily identify that okay, this is this product, right? So that is identification. But positioning is all about aligning the product image with the packaging material. That's why I told you about alcohol, expensive spirits. They spend a lot of money. So that is product positioning. Identification is different. Positioning is. These are some of the important aspects pertaining to product. Now, when it comes to packaging decisions, there are different options available here. So these are the uh, widely used packaging strategies. The first one on the list is family packaging. And family packaging is not a new term for all of us. We are very familiar with family packaging. So in family, I think what happens, obviously the quantity is on a higher side because get more quantity at a lesser price. The higher the quantity you buy, more economical the product. In case of multiple packing, what happens? Marketer encloses all the product range what he offers under one uh, single package. So when you buy A best example of this is the Johnson and Johnson newborn baby package. When you buy Johnson and Johnson newborn baby package, what happens is you get all the products offered by Johnson and Johnson bundled in a single pack. That is called your multi-packaging. So in multi-packaging, marketers offer a number of closely resembling yet different in feature products used by a consumer in a single package. So multi-packaging offers a range of distinctive products which are grouped in one basket. That's what multi-packaging does. Similar to what you get to have in Cadbury celebrations. So Cadbury celebrations. You have when you buy a Cadbury celebration box, you have all the products of Cadbury bundled in a single. So that is called your multi-packaging. Reuse packaging, as the name itself, right, suggests the packaging is eco-friendly and it can be reused also. Right? So something what I was mentioning in the initial discussion. A lot of companies give permanent containers like glass bottles, glass jars, which can be used at home even after you have consumed the product. So that remains permanently in the household because you can frequently use the product again and again. Ecological packing is purely from the perspective of environment. So raw material in manufacturing the product is designed in such a way that it does not harms the environment, and the product should be reused. So it should be recyclable. So it should not cause any kind of hazard to the environment. So these are the things which are taken into account while making ecological packing, that it should not harm the environment, it should not harm the resources, and it should be reusable, it should be recyclable. So these are some of the essential attributes of ecological packaging.